You're listening to Menopause Natural Solutions, episode 82, the most important dietary change to make in menopause. Welcome to Menopause Natural Solutions, your podcast for all things perimenopause, menopause and beyond. Stay tuned as your host, naturopath Jennifer Harrington, explains how to use natural therapies to find your ultimate health and happiness during your transition. Hello ladies, and welcome back to another episode of Menopause Natural Solutions. I'm your host, naturopath Jennifer Harrington, and today we're going to talk about something that came up for me this week. This week in my group program, the Menopause Makeover, we had our nutritional Q&A session, and one of the questions that was sent in was asking me about what the most important dietary change was that she should start with. And that's what I want to share and discuss with all of you today. But before we get started, I want to remind you that last week was the first anniversary of the release of my book, From Invisible to Invincible. And if you buy the book at the moment, I am giving away the upgraded interactive version of the book, which contains 56 additional pages. So that special goes on until the middle of March, where we have a Meet the Author party. So click the link in the notes that goes to my website to buy a copy now, and I look forward to seeing you in the Meet the Author Zoom party. But for now, what is the most important dietary change to start with? What do you think it might be? Well, if you guessed sugar, yes, you are absolutely right. Sugar is the perfect toxin. It's sweet to taste and addictive in nature. But let's clarify here. What I'm actually talking about is processed sugar. Okay, I don't want you eating too much naturally occurring sugar, but at least when you do eat carbohydrates such as fruits and vegetables, they also contain fiber and other nutrients that block the blood sugar spike that occurs when you're eating processed sugar. So processed sugar, let's have a look. It's got some very, very obvious sources like soft drinks, fruit juices, flavored dairy products, cereals, baked goods, and of course lollies. And according to the National Cancer Institute, this is the US National Cancer Institute, we are consuming on average 24 teaspoons of sugar a day. That is massive. And there is actually no need for sugar. Sugar is not an essential component of the diet. And to have 24 teaspoons of them, this is just mind-blowing. So most women are aware that sugar affects their waistline. It affects their energy levels and increases the potential risk of them developing diabetes. But not everyone links the other downstream effects. Sugar is very inflammatory and can promote inflammation and trigger any inflammatory condition in the body, whether it be a simple trigger for a hot flush or the underlying cause of their insomnia. So let's just have a look at some of the other issues related to a high sugar consumption. It can increase your risk of cardiovascular disease, and the higher your intake of sugar, the higher your risk of death by heart disease is. It increases your risk of fatty liver disease. Sugar consumption is the number 2 cause of this disease after alcohol consumption. Did you know that Alzheimer's has been renamed type 3 diabetes, as it has a very strong link between high blood sugar levels and brain damage resulting in various forms of dementia? Did you know sugar feeds all forms of cancer? High sugar diets promote the development of acne. And sugar and stress have a very interesting relationship. Did you know that when you're stressed, your body produces the stress hormone cortisol? Cortisol tells your body to convert stored sugars into active blood sugar so that your body has the fuel to run away from danger, and this ultimately triggers a roller coaster blood sugar ride. I know myself, on a stressful day, I crave sugar. So we don't want to activate that cascade. We want to make healthier choices. It's involved also with mental health. Mood swings and depression are triggered by the overconsumption of sugar. Imbalanced blood sugar levels, dysregulated neurotransmitter production, and increased inflammation triggers this downward cascade of poor food choices and poor moods. The interaction between consumed sugar and protein produces advanced glycated end product, or AGEs. AGEs damage collagen, elastin, and promote the development of fine lines and wrinkles. High sugar diets accelerate telomere shortenings, which increases cellular aging. Prolonged elevated blood sugar levels increase your risk of kidney disease. Hangry. Blood sugar highs and lows turn you into a hungry, angry monster that nobody wants to be near. And of course, dental cavities. Please remember that sugar is not a required nutrient for health, and it can be hidden in various foods. It's also known as high corn fructose syrup, brown sugar, corn sweetener, corn syrup, fruit juice concentrate, honey, malt, maltase, invert sugar, and anything ended in ose. Think dextrose, fructose, glucose, lactose, maltose. Now you're aware of the dangers of overconsumption of sugar. Let's talk about some ways in which we can remove sugar from the diet. Please be aware, I don't recommend you replace sugar with artificial sweeteners. Instead, let's set out to retrain your taste buds so that you can once again enjoy the great taste of real food. I'm not a fan of calorie counting or hyper-focus on macronutrient counting, but if you need a number to aim for, let's aim for 100 grams of carbohydrates daily. Let's start with your kitchen. Go through your pantries and your fridge and identify food choices that need to go. Think about backup plan for when you're hungry or life gets busy. In my house, I have frozen homemade meals in the freezer, boiled eggs ready to go, a combination of fresh and frozen fruit, fresh nuts, ready to go salad options like cherry tomatoes, baby carrots, quakes, which are mini cucumbers, and dips like yummy hummus with the added benefit of phytoestrogens. I have homemade protein balls and ingredients for a smoothie. Next, we can have a look at drinks. It's time to stop adding sugar to hot beverages like coffee and swap soft drinks for water. Water doesn't need to be boring. My current favourite water recipe includes a quarter of a freshly squeezed lemon, a little grated ginger, and this is about a quarter of a teaspoon, and a pinch of natural salt. Yum. Do you really need snacks or desserts? You don't. But if you think so, try making some of your own at home without the sugar. And if I want a snack, my favourite treat is half a cup of frozen blueberries. If you're struggling with cravings, it could indicate that you have inadequate proteins or fats in your diet. Consider what you've eaten. Has it been carbohydrate based? Where could you add more protein and more beneficial fats into your diet? Well, I hope that has helped, guys. The number one thing you can do to improve your menopausal transition today won't cost you a thing. It's simply going into your kitchen, chucking out all the sugar, and replacing it with real food that's not processed, that does not contain added sugar. Let's see if we can get your consumption down, because 24 teaspoons of sugar on average a day is scary. Let's avoid hot flushes. Let's avoid cardiovascular disease and increasing your risk of Alzheimer's. I hope you found today helpful, and I look forward to chatting to you again next week. Bye for now. Thank you for listening to Menopause Natural Solutions. This podcast contains general information about menopause. It is provided as a guide and is not intended to replace medical advice. Opinions of guests are their own, and this podcast does not endorse or accept responsibility for statements made by guests. If you have enjoyed today's episode, please leave us a 5-star review.